Hey guys, it's me, Halloween Dan, and I haven't done a sit down video for a while. It's all been very sort of all over the place recently, so I thought I'd do a quick little sit down talk video because there's a few things on my mind. I wanted to sort of update you on some elements of my horn, things that are going right, things that are going wrong, but in particular I wanted to talk about something that affects me all the time at this time of year. If you hear any noises going off as well, it is just my horn being set off as people walk by. Something that affects me every single year, it's stress. I talked about this last year. Stress, Halloween themed stress, is actually quite a big thing with me. But one element of stress in particular is a real killer for me when it comes to this time of year. There's one thing above all other things that stresses me out beyond all others. And we're going to talk about it today because I think it affects more than just me. So let's do this. So first of all, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my horn. You will have seen, if you saw the video where I set it up this Sunday just gone, it's all been going okay so far. Most things, nearly everything, 99% of everything is working exactly the way I wanted it to work. There haven't been any major hiccups, touch wood, just yet. Lots of people keep on coming to see this stuff and donate money, which is obviously one of the main things we do our horn for, apart from just obviously really loving it and enjoying it. And yeah, it's all going really well as could be at the moment. The only thing that's gone wrong, this guy, otherwise known as, we call him Tom, but he is the Wailing Phantom, or the animatronic Phantom, the animated Phantom. I've only had him since 2021, and he hasn't really actually had that much use, so I am rather disappointed. The other day I switched him on, nothing. Now, he's been temperamental since almost day one. His sensor never worked. He makes a weird squeak noise, which I don't really know what that's all about. And now he just doesn't work. I think the reason he doesn't work, it's actually to do with the actual plug, the jack that goes into the back of him to power him. The power adapter, I think some solders come undone inside. I am going to give it a go at resoldering it and hopefully he starts working again. But do you know what? At this point, everything else is working so well. It's sad to say, as good as he is as a prop, if it had been something else stopped working, I think I'd have been more devastated. That's really harsh to say, but it is kind of true. But I am still going to see if I can get this guy going again. Who knows if I can. But now I wanted to talk about something that causes me real stress. That actually hasn't stressed me out as maybe it would have done once upon a time. The things that stress me out at Halloween usually are things like getting everything together, making sure I've bought everything I wanted to buy, making sure everything has arrived, making sure I've made everything as well as I can. Those are the things that usually stress me out. But this year they've not stressed me out that much. I've been pretty chill, actually, on most fronts. But there's one thing that stresses me out every single year, and it's the one thing that I can't do anything about. And that's the weather. So, I live in the UK, and the UK is famously wet and dreary and just windy and all that stuff. And so this time of year, it's autumn. That's kind of what the weather is supposed to be doing, right? The irony is that the rest of the year, for me, the weather can do whatever it wants. I really don't care. I love wet and windy and that sort of weather that makes you want to go inside and get cozy. I love it. I really do. It doesn't bother me at all. But for this brief window of time, basically any time between sort of the 15th of October and the beginning of November, I want it to stop raining. I want it to be calm and dry and not windy. And just crisp autumn weather would be lovely. Just nice, sunny, dry, chilled out weather. Guess how many times that's happened for me in the whole time I've been celebrating Halloween? It's a big fat 0 for me. Yeah, it's never happened. There's always been at least a day or two or a week's worth of rain that completely spoils everything. This year, in fact, last week, Literally, I'd set up all my sort of more basic elements in my horn, and no sooner had I done so, had the weather forecasters said that there was a storm coming, and this wasn't going to be some little thing that just skirts along the outside of the UK. This was going to full on hit us. It was going to be really windy and really wet. Just the sorts of things that I want to hear as a haunter. So Storm Babette came along, glided along the east coast of the UK, caused massive devastation, more in Scotland and the east coast where I'm not. I'm on the west side of the UK. So it didn't hit us as badly, but it still rained a lot, was quite windy at one point, and I was like, ugh. The only positive was that it wasn't the week where I had all my main animatronics set up, which is this week. Now, touch wood, up until now, the weather hasn't been too bad. We're at Thursday now, and apart from this morning, which was a bit rainy until about sort of 11 o'clock in the morning, every day has been majority dry so far. So far so good. But as you can tell, I'm not holding my breath for what lies ahead. The forecasters have already said past about Friday the weather's gonna go boom. And Saturday and Sunday are pretty much a washout in this part of the world. Could be really bad, in fact, on Sunday particularly. Ironically, the day when I wanted to do the kids' party, which might now have to become a rather indoor-centric kids' party. Now, Halloween isn't until next Tuesday. And this is where I kind of hold my breath a little bit and wait for the weather forecast. At the minute, the forecast for next Tuesday keeps on changing. It's too far ahead for the forecasters to predict accurately. Sometimes it shows it completely dry, sometimes it shows it rain in the mornings. The worst case scenario is rain in the afternoon. If we have rain after 4 o'clock, then we're in bad territory. And every year, for at least the last 3 years, that has happened. After 4 o'clock, the rain clouds have gathered and hell has broken loose. Many of you will have seen my video last year where the rain came out of the blue so rapidly and so unexpectedly that all my animatronics were out on display and Winnie the Witch nearly bit the big one. And this thing with the weather, it causes me huge amounts of anxiety. It really does. When you've spent a lot of time, not only money and stuff, buying big props and things that could get damaged by the rain, but spent time creating things, making things, designing things, thinking about where things are going to go and how they're going to look. The rain just spoils all of that. It doesn't mean to. It's not its fault, but it does. It really, really does ruin everything. And every year I hold my breath and pray to the weather gods, please let it be dry. Please, even just for Halloween itself, just let it be dry a little bit. And so far, every year, that has been a big old fail. It hasn't taken place. It's rained at least some point on Halloween, which of course, for someone who spends as much time on Halloween as I do, is devastating. Really is devastating. But you know, I have to remember sometimes the weather is the weather. I can't do anything about it. My props are as prepared for it as they can be. Right now, because Tom's decided to not work, I actually only have 2 animatronics that will suffer if it rains. The Headless Horseman should be okay, the Reaper's definitely okay, and the Witches are under their witch house. So as long as it's not torrential rain and gale force winds, they should be okay too. The biggest dampener on Halloween itself is, of course, that people want to come out and see your display. They want to take a bit of time, and I want them to take some time because I want them to donate for the charity that we're supporting. And if it's raining, they just want their kids to get their candy and go. They just want to leave. They don't want to hang about. And it can be rather disappointing and disheartening. But you know, I can't do anything about it. There's nothing I can do. The haunt is as well prepared as possible. The weather so far hasn't been terrible, and it doesn't look completely terrible in the days ahead. I just would love if that Halloween day was dry, just this much, just that back end of the day, from about 4 o'clock till maybe about 9 o'clock. If that part of the day was just a bit dry, it would be dream stuff. It really would be dream stuff. But you know, what can you do? You can't do anything about it, and we will just have to see. If the weather stresses you out too, if you get a bit stressed about that kind of stuff at this time of year, let me know in the comments, like and subscribe and all that stuff. And other than that, guys, I think, I could be wrong, I'll probably do a video on Halloween itself, but then, yeah, then I've got something of an announcement to make, I suppose, after that. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, let's just enjoy what's left of the Halloween season. I hope you're having a good one wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Keep it spooky. Bye.